Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Longing, where today we are once again going to be continuing to read Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Book 4. So, let's get going. In the end, however, grasping out for its dominion with strong green branches, asking weighty questions of the wind, the storm, and whatever is at home on high places, answering more weightily, a commander, a victor, oh, who should not ascend high mountains to behold such growths. At thy tree, O Zarathustra, the gloomy and ill-constituted also refresh themselves. At thy luck, even the wavering become steady and heal their hearts. And verily towards thy mountain and thy tree do many eyes turn today. A great longing hath arisen, and many have learned to ask, Who is Zarathustra? And in those whose ears thou hast at any time dripped thy song and thy honey, all the hidden ones, the lone dwellers and the twain dwellers, have simultaneously said to their hearts, Doth Zarathustra still live? It is no longer worthwhile to live. Everything is indifferent. Everything is useless. Or else we must live with Zarathustra. Why doth he not come who hath so long announced himself? Thus do many people ask, Hath solitude swallowed him up, or should we perhaps go to him? Now doth it come to pass that solitude itself becometh fragile and breaketh open, like a grave that breaketh open and can no longer hold its dead. Everywhere one seeth resurrected ones. Now do the waves rise and rise around thy mountain, O Zarathustra, and however high be thy height, many of them must rise up to thee. Thy boat shall not rest much longer on dry ground. And that we despairing ones have now come into thy cave, and already no longer despair. It is but a prognostic and a presage that better ones are on the way to thee. For they themselves are on the way to thee, the last remnant of God among men. That is to say, all the men of great longing, of great loathing, of great satiety, all who do not want to live unless they learn again to hope, unless they learn from thee, O Zarathustra, the great hope. Thus spake the king on the right, and seized the hand of Zarathustra in order to kiss it. But Zarathustra checked his veneration and stepped back frightened, fleeing, as it were, silently and suddenly into the far distance. After a little while, however, he was again at home with his guests, looked at them with clear scrutinizing eyes, and said, My guests, ye higher men, I will speak plain language and plainly with you. It is not for you that I have waited here in these mountains. Plain language and plainly, good God, said here the king on the left to himself. One seeth he doth not know the good Occidentals, this sage out of the Orient, but he meaneth blunt language and bluntly. Well, that is not the worst taste in these days. Ye may verily all of you be higher men, continued Zarathustra, but for me ye are neither high enough nor strong enough. For me, that is to say, for the inexorable which is now silent in me, but will not always be silent, and if ye appertain to me, still it is not as my right arm. For he who himself standeth, like you, on sickly and tender legs, wisheth above all to be treated indulgently, whether he be conscious of it or hide it from himself. My arms and my legs, however, I do not treat indulgently. I do not treat my warriors indulgently. How then could ye be fit for my warfare? With you I should spoil all my victories, and many of you would tumble over if ye but heard the loud beating of my drums. Moreover, ye are not sufficiently beautiful and well born for me. I require pure, smooth mirrors for my doctrines. On your surface even mine own likeness is distorted. On your shoulders presseth many a burden, many a recollection, many a mischievous dwarf squatteth in your corners. There is concealed populace also in you. And though ye be high and of a higher type, much in you is crooked and misshapen. There is no smith in the world that could hammer you right and straight for me. Ye are only bridges. May higher ones pass over upon you. Ye signify steps, so do not upbraid him who ascendeth beyond you into his height. Out of your seed there may one day arise for me a genuine son and perfect heir. But that time is distant. Ye yourselves are not those unto whom my heritage and name belong. Not for you do I wait here in these mountains. Not with you may I descend for the last time. Ye have come unto me only as a presage that higher ones are on the way to me. Not the men of great longing, of great loathing, of great satiety. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Satiety. And that which ye call the remnant of God. Nay, nay, 3 times nay. For others do I wait here in these mountains, and will not lift my foot from thence without them. For higher ones, stronger ones, triumphanter ones, merrier ones, for such as are built squarely in body and soul. Laughing lions must come. O my guests, ye strange ones, have ye yet heard nothing of my children, and that they are on the way to me? Do speak unto me of my gardens, of my happy isles, of my new beautiful race. Why do ye not speak unto me thereof? This guest's present do I solicit of your love, that ye speak unto me of my children. For them am I rich, for them I became poor. What have I not surrendered? What would I not surrender that I might have one thing? These children, this living plantation, these life trees of my will and my highest hope. Thus spake Zarathustra, and stopped suddenly in his discourse. For his longing came over him, and he closed his eyes and his mouth, because of the agitation of his heart. And all his guests also were silent, and stood still and confounded, except only that the old soothsayer made signs with his hands and his gestures. Chapter 72. The Supper. For at this point the soothsayer interrupted the greeting of Zarathustra and his guests. He pressed forward as one who had no time to lose, seized Zarathustra's hand, and exclaimed, "But Zarathustra, one thing is more necessary than the other, so sayest thou thyself. Well, one thing is now more necessary unto me than all others. A word at the right time. Didst thou not invite me to table? And here are many who have made long journeys. Thou dost not mean to feed us merely with discourses? Besides, all of you have thought too much about freezing, drowning, suffocating, and other bodily dangers. None of you, however, have thought of my danger, namely, perishing of hunger." Thus spake the soothsayer. When Zarathustra's animals, however, heard these words, they ran away in terror, for they saw that all they had brought home during the day would not be enough to fill the one soothsayer. "Likewise, perishing of thirst," continued the soothsayer, "and although I hear water splashing here like words of wisdom, that is to say, I plenteously and unweariedly, I want wine. Not every one is born a water drinker like Zarathustra, neither doth water suit weary and withered ones. We deserve wine. It alone giveth immediate vigour and improvised health." On this occasion, when the soothsayer was longing for wine, it happened that that the king on the left, the silent one, also found expression for once. "We took care," said he, "about wine. I, along with my brother the king on the right, we have enough of wine, a whole ass-load of it, so there is nothing lacking but bread." "Bread," replied Zarathustra, laughing when he spake. "It is precisely bread that anchorites have not. But man doth not live by bread alone, but also by the flesh of good lambs, of which I have 2. These shall we slaughter quickly, and cook spicily with sage. It is so that I like them. And there is also no lack of roots and fruits, good enough even for the fastidious and dainty, nor of nuts and other riddles for cracking. Thus will we have a good repast in a little while. But whoever wished to eat with us must also give a hand to the work, even the kings. For with Zarathustra, even a king may be a cook. This proposal appealed to the hearts of all of them, save that the voluntary beggar objected to the flesh and wine and spices. And with that, we come to the end of the episode. So, I will say thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, or night. No matter what time of day it is, I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.